Welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, September 13th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories read here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. And here are some of the news stories for the day from around Indian country in North America. And for those people checking in the last few days, you are well aware of the fact that the IndianCountryTV.com program crew we're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Indian Summer Festival grounds, and there are several programs there. Friday Night Grand Entry, Wade Fernandez and Michael Boucher in particular, that are now playing in the live stream ICTV.com program list. Those programs are rebroadcast files of our live streaming, meaning the audio is probably fine, but the density of what you're going to be watching is low density cell phone to internet streaming, which ends up blurring at times, choppy start and stopping, those kinds of things. The IndianCountryTV.com program staff is now downloading and editing not only those particular programs, but other pieces to replace them with our recorded digital tape version, bringing you some more clarity. So we're exchanging those files, but we're going to put a lot more programs in there since we recorded about 20 hours or more of material. Bear with us while we produce those programs with our limited staff and time, but you'll see those programs going up into the featured channel here in the next couple of weeks, actually, starting today. And today we start featuring some of those programs and clips and pieces of our interviews from the Indian Summer Festival Midway and elsewhere in stages, and we bring with you, first of all, an interview with Keith Smith, a Red Lake Ojibwe, who talks about making pipes. And right when I was done, as the protocol is, another person came up to Keith and offered him some asema, or tobacco, to help with the creation of a pipe, as is the proper procedure. We then go and bump into a Wisconsin governor's candidate, Tim John, on the Midway, and we interview him for a few minutes as well. Keith Smith.
Hey.
Tell us a little bit about where you're from and what you got going down here at Indian Summer today.
I'm from Red Lake, Minnesota, and I now reside in Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin. And they called me on short notice for the stone maker person they had coming. Wasn't going to be able to make it, so they got a hold of me. They heard that I made pipes, so I brought some of my pipes and things down.
Let's take a look at that. Bring her right up here by the camera a little bit. We'll take a look at that. Okay, black stone pipe of some kind.
Yep.
We'll turn that inside so we can see the bowl. There you go. Look at that. That's good. Wow, that's some nice work. Okay.
And I also make complete pipes. I make the stems. This is the stem for that. And
what's that made out of?
This is basswood.
And is there a certain time of the year that you would collect that if you were to go out and get some basswood, or is that a year-round product?
It can be collected year-round, but I got a wood guy that lives up in Deer River, Minnesota, that cuts them in all different shapes and sizes that I like, and I buy it all from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the black stone, a lot of people are familiar with the red pipe stone, but the black stone, people aren't as familiar with it, right? You see it around.
Right. Yeah, the blackstone, I think for the Anishinaabes, I've seen a lot of blackstone throwing up pipes in different ceremonies. Different relatives, men relatives had them. And so when they get it now, and I understand it comes from up north around Kenora, is what I'm understanding. And when I started to make pipes, then my relatives would bring me a piece of stone, tell me what they needed, and then I would make them a pipe. And then over the years, you know, more people would come and ask for pipe, and so it's kind of become a hobby for me that I really like to do.
Yeah.
I put a lot of time and thought into it. I try to stay away from the air tools and stuff, and I'll go right from filing.
Go ahead and pick a piece of that up. Let's look at one. He's got a piece of cloth here.
What I do is I blank them out first. So this is a blank with the first hole drilled into it. And then as I start to file them, you start to get it round and get it shaped, and each one, of course, is unique. I just started this one this morning. Now these three I worked on throughout the day yesterday.
Let's get right down there once and take a look at that design work. There's a little bit of design work going on there already. There you go, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good.
So things like this, and I put some symbolism on them, you know. For the Anishinaabe, typically the ones with the ends on them are the one for the males, for the men, And the L-shaped pipes like this one here are for the females, the Gitchdaquays. So yeah, this one, in fact, Jonathan Windyboy's here this weekend, and he ordered 4 of them that I'm going to be making
When people come to ask you to do a pipe, do they generally have somewhat of an idea about what they have in mind?
Yeah, a lot of times it might be for, you know, whether they need it for a particular society. They might be making it for a relative. Especially for the native people, when they approach me, the first thing they bring me is they bring me tobacco. And I take their tobacco and I see what they need. And a lot of times when they bring tobacco, they already got the stone. And a lot of times it comes in a block, like this red stone came to me, you know. And then I'll make the pipe or pipes out of this block of stone. And the black stone comes in the same form, and just a solid block that I'll cut out into blanks like I was showing you, like that. And then I'll just start using the files and getting them ready to go. And then at the same time I'll start the stems too. And as you can see, you know, the stems start out, this is unfinished stem, but eventually it'll go on probably to one of the pipes that I have finishing up here. And
I had a cousin who works with stone a little bit, big chunks of it, and he says sometimes the stone tells you how to form itself. He starts out with a block, and it ends up being something. Sometimes he says, I really had no idea what it was going to be, but it started taking form. Yeah. The stone told me. Do you ever have that feeling on a piece of stone?
Yeah, and this eagle pipe is a good example of that. When I got it from a relative of mine, we traded for it. And the stone was real thin, and it kind of went down on the edge here. And he goes, I don't think you'll be able to get a pipe out of it, but I'll trade you for it. And as I looked at it, I seen the shape of this eagle head because of how the stone had a bevel at the end. And so once I got working on it, just like your relative was saying, I really let the stone do what it wants to do. You know, and all the other intricate stuff afterwards, like this one here, I mean, I might get it worked down to this and just let it sit for a day or two, you know, put it where I can see it, and then over time, you know, like yesterday, I just got the idea to start putting the grooves and kind of making it kind of fancy there, you know, and I just go with whatever the thought is, whatever the, I guess, like your relative was saying, what the stone tells me to do, you know. So that's how I do it as well.
From start to finish?
From start to finish.
And what kind of a time frame are we talking about from start to finish?
Well, start to finish, I probably got about 80 to 90 hours into this one here. That's including the stem.
Right.
And but the smaller ones.
So today, if I says, hey, I'd like to pick up a pipe at the end of the day, you're going to tell me that you're, you know, get in the waiting line.
Yeah, you'll be on a little bit of a waiting list, but generally I can get a pipe and stem done in 4 to 5 days.
Right.
Yeah.
And some things you've had sitting around for quite a while, waiting for it to kind of tell you how to finish it up?
Yep. Some pieces just sit there for a long time until it's just ready to go, and then once I start getting the files out and working on it, then it just kind of comes around.
If someone wanted some help figuring this out, because there's people that have questions, they don't know where to start and how to do that, how do we get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me a lot of ways. I work for the Ho-Chunk Nation, where I'm one of the CCTV technicians for the Ho-Chunk Nation at Rainbow Casino, which is now Ho-Chunk Gaming Nakusa.
Okay.
And,
so if they walk into a casino and wave at the camera, you'll recognize them.
Yeah. Well, all I do is I integrate and program and keep everything running, you know. But you know, Keith Smith, Keith.Smith@hochunk.com, or you can find my wife and I. We got Facebook, Keith and Val, one word, Smith on Facebook. You can find me there. Or you know, it's Keith.Smith@ho-chunk.com, and a lot of people kind of know me and can kind of get a hold of me. If you know any of the Midnight Express guys, they know me. People around the Pauls when I'm going around singing and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
You're findable.
Yeah, I'm findable, and if you ever need something, you know, just give me a call and let me know.
What do you like about Indian Summer Festival?
I like meeting a lot of different people. This is the first time I've ever set up a table So the opportunity came pretty quick, and so I didn't have much. So some of the items I have here, I picked up from a friend of mine who runs a little gallery around Wisconsin Rapids. But I did bring all of my pipes and stuff, and I'm really happy I brought them because a lot of Anishinaabe people came by, men, and I sold all of the pipes that I had finished, and I also sold the blanks to some of the Anishinaabe men that wanted to make their own. Yeah. You know, and I give them my card so if they have any questions later, you know, so I can kind of instruct them over the phone or whatever they might need. So that's what I like the most, is meeting new people. And if I can get them to start making their own pipe, you know, then in a way I'm kind of passing on what I've learned. You know, kind of sharing that, and that's what I want to do.
Good. Well, thanks for joining with us. I have one last personal question.
Yeah.
You're from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
What's that hat on your head there all about?
I'm a Packer fan, you know. Don't mind that purple guy things or whatever they are over there.
You're putting that hat on there so the Menominees who live close to the Green Bay Packers don't tease you. Look at that. Number 80 right there. This is a live cast of not a Packer fan. He used to be an original player. Miigwech.
Miigwech.
So I say, relax. It's only your mother watching, maybe, or somebody. We're talking to Tim John on the Midway of the Indian Summer Festival grounds in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Tim's running for the governor of the state of Wisconsin. Tim, tell us a little bit about what kind of shoes are you trying to fill? Why are you grasping for the governorship?
Because it's a position that you can have that can make the real difference and solve the problems that we have in our state. You know, the other positions are wonderful, but a lot of the issues we have are statewide issues, and I think we've lost a little bit of our direction. We need the war canoe straightened up. You know, we need the birch bark canoe straightened up a little bit, and I believe that we can do that by working together.
Okay. What brings you to the Indian Summer Festival grounds here?
Well, I've been involved with Indians since I've been a little kid. My dad took us on yearly trips to Pine Ridge, and we'd spend 2 or 3 weeks out there. And he was a great lover of the Indians, and helped fund a bunch of colleges and even the program at Marquette University, the Indian program at Marquette University, he funded. So I've been involved with Indians throughout my life, and was involved when Indian Summer got started for the first probably 5 or 6 years.
Would you recommend people come down here and take a peek at all the things going on down here?
I've been to a lot of festivals, even around the world. There's none better than Indian Summer, and people at Indian Summer know that. It's the best.
Good. And you got a primary coming up on September 14th, only a couple days away.
That's right.
And then we're expecting that you're going to get through that.
Oh yes.
And we got an election on Tuesday, November
2nd.
All right, and you're encouraging everyone to
vote, 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 vote. Very much so, of course.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
And tomorrow, if everything works out fine with our remote interview process, we're going to be talking to Connie Joy on the Native News Update, who has written a book called The Tragedy at Sedona, My Life in James Arthur Ray's Inner Circle. And Connie Joy pulled away after a public argument with James Ray about 2 months before the tragic events in Sedona that killed 3 people in this sweat lodge structure or dwelling. Connie also observed several incidents that raised a big red flag in her mind about the safety of people who put their lives in James Arthur Ray's hands. And this is tomorrow on the Native News Update. And that is our latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I want to thank you all for joining with us, and come back again soon, see all the programs that are going to be in our file. Miigwech.